Here, of course, is Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham, you may not know, because you're probably not old enough if you're watching this show. In 1995, Lindsey Graham was one of the impeachment managers, if I remember correctly, for the Bill Clinton impeachment as a House member, telling us how horrible it is for the children out there who need to hear that Bill Clinton had sex with somebody in the White House. Oral copulation. Very difficult to tell the children about this. And of course, the children all knew because Lindsey Graham and his buddies were all over TV talking about it constantly. But here's Lindsey Graham now, slightly different perspective on the rule of law.
So are you concerned about the District Attorney Bragg, Alvin Bragg, indicting President Trump next week in an unprecedented way, and the circus that would be around that?
Yeah, it's going to blow up our country, and this is a bunch of BS. You've had the prosecutor before Bragg, Mr. Vance, look at the case and pass on it. You had the U.S. Attorney in New York say, I'm not going to do it federally. Right. There was an intervening cause other than Trump running. One of the guys in the DA's office wrote a book very critical of Vance. You should have prosecuted Trump. You let him off, and Bragg feels that pressure. He's a George Soros-backed prosecutor. He can't take the heat. So the guy is yielding to the political pressure generated by the former prosecutor, and this is a case without merit, in my view. Donald Trump will be the only person in the history of New York prosecuted under this theory.
Yeah. What is... I mean, Graham can't possibly know what the case is against Trump because it's in front of a grand jury. I mean, Michael Cohen went to prison for it. So people obviously get prosecuted for this. It's just a question of who directed Michael Cohen to do it. That's all. This is not a complicated situation. Michael Cohen went to prison. Where was where was Lindsey Graham complaining about Michael Cohen going to prison? I mean,
It's going to blow the country up if Michael Cohen gets arrested for this.
You know, I think honestly what they're afraid of is that it doesn't blow the country up.
Right, exactly.
That largely, you know, people don't care. Yeah. And, you know, we saw this yesterday. We played all these clips. All of these Republicans, they all want him to go to jail. There's nothing Lindsey Graham wants more than Donald Trump to go to jail. That way he can pretend to love Donald Trump and not have to deal with Donald Trump. That's what's going on here. Here is Kevin McCarthy. Exact same incentive structure for Kevin McCarthy. I'm going to pretend that I'm upset that Donald Trump might go to jail, and I'm going to pray that Donald Trump goes to jail. Here's Kevin McCarthy with the pretending.
About the investigation that your three-committee chairman launched yesterday into the prosecutor from New York. You guys have raised a lot of concerns about the prosecutor, but what about the actual allegations here that the former president may have falsified business records to cover for hush money payments to cover up this alleged affair with an adult film actress? Do you have any concerns about that?
Look, the thing I think about, it was interesting. Someone briefed me on the use of money, a situation like this before, and you probably covered this. Remember when the DNC and Hillary Clinton paid the law firm $1 million, but and said that it was for something else, and we found out later it wasn't. It was all about the Russia collusion. It wasn't for legal part. And so they went through and they got investigated. $1 million they spent. And you know what? At the end of the day, they didn't get prosecuted. They got fined. Hillary's campaign got fined $8,000. And the DNC got fined $100,000. Even though they used $1 million, they knowingly hid the fact of what they were doing to try to hide. They got investigated. So I look at it from this perspective. We live in America and it should be equal justice. This was personal money. This wasn't trying to hide. This was 7 years ago, statute of limitation. And I think in your heart of hearts, you know, too, that you think this is just political. And I think that's what the rest of the country thinks. And we're kind of tired of that. I mean, we're...
In your heart of hearts, Manu Raju, I think you know this is political.
I think what's political about this is like everyone saw Trump and realized he's a big time crook, and then looked at prosecutors and be like, how has this been gallivanting around this whole time?
Right.
Yeah, that puts them in a tricky political situation.
And you know what's making it political is an entire political party talking about what a New York City district attorney's doing. Where is the attacks in Georgia? I mean, they're doing the same thing. Why have they not been crowing about the existence of a grand jury in the first place? It's not like this came out of nowhere. This has been going on for years. It's just that they ended up finding, or possibly finding, that they want to indict him, this grand jury. So we'll see.